I'm dying.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
What is going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, aka Philly Fresco, and this is Philly the podcast. Saturday something, I don't know. I'm gonna come up with a name for this on A2D, but shout out to the whole A2D family for having us on as always. I'm gonna be joined by my guy Hunter in a minute. But before we get into any of this, there's gonna be a rant. There's gonna be a rant, y'all. I mean, we're gonna try and break down the top 40 and go through it and make some type of sense out of this. But Chris SIMMS wanted attention. You got it. But before we get into all that, shout out to the sponsor for today's show is Body Check Wellness. Use promo code A2D at bodycheckwellness.com for 20% off. Be sure to do that. You know, big shout out to them. But let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Before I actually go over the list, like I said, Hunter's going to be joining me pretty soon. So before I go into the list, I just want to kind of give my initial reaction to it. Like I said, I feel like Chris SIMMS just wanted attention. So here you go. This is what you wanted. This is what you're going to get. Chris SIMMS, not only, and I'm not even going to talk about Jalen Hurts right now. That's going to be the main focus. But if you look at all, like Case Keenum, why is Case Keenum on this list? Why is Kellen Mond on this list above Trey Lance at that? Jared Goff at 31 under Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton, who probably won't be starting next year, is apparently in the top 30. I mean, this just makes no sense. Drew Lock, who had a terrible year last year. Marcus Mariota, who'll probably be a backup. Like, this makes no sense. This makes no sense. Everything is just mishmashed. I just don't get it. I don't know what he was drinking when he has Ryan Fitzpatrick at 23. He got Aaron Rodgers behind Josh Allen. He got Josh Allen way above Tom Brady. He got Matt Stafford above. Like, none of this makes sense. None of this makes sense. I knew that was going to be something. You only calling him a joke because you mad Hurts isn't on the list, and he's proven zero reasons to be on the list. He's played 4 games, 52. All right, so cool. You got some numbers. I like that. So let me know what Kellen Mond did last year. Let me know his completion percentage last year. Let me know his win-loss record last year. Let me know what Trey Lance did, Case Keenum did. Let me know what Drew Lock did. Let me know what they did. Let me know what they did, and let me know what Andy Dalton did. If you want to bring up numbers, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. They got Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston above Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence. I mean, come on. This is not just about Jalen Hurts. This is the whole list is wrong. Shout out to my guy, Hunter in the building. What's up, brother?
Nothing much. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, a little bit staticky, but I can hear you.
I'm a little staticky.
Like you're in a bathroom.
Got you. Hold on. Let me switch to my phone. Let me switch to my phone and come back.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, please tell me what they did. Stephen White. How do you say your name? Stephen White. Let me know. I need to know what they did. What did Taysom Hill do other than lose to the Eagles? Let me know why he's number 24. Number 24. Why is Jimmy Garoppolo better than Ben Roethlisberger? But like, yeah, how does any of this make sense? How does any of this make sense? And like I said, it's not just Jalen Hurts. We're going to get into Jalen Hurts, and I'm going to tell you where I think and where Hunter thinks, he should be on this list. But at the end of the day, this whole list makes no sense. You got Kellen Mond, who I think was like a 3rd-round pick. What? Come on. How many games do you think the Eagles will start Joe Flacco? Hopefully zero. I mean, like somebody asked me the other day, like I think the over-under is like 1.5 games. Like they think he'll start at least 1 game. I could see him, playing 1 game. I could see if we like really, really suck, he might get in, or if we're really, really good towards the end of the year, he might get that 1 game. So I could see him getting 1 year. But, 1 game. But I don't think he's going to be a big part of this offense, or at least I hope so. Hurts is definitely top 40, but he's not top 25. That's just facts. I feel you. We're going to see where we think. Because I mean, let's look at 25 and down. Jameis Winston's up and down. Jameis Winston is definitely up and down. He might not even be the starter next year. We saw him doing the Dora the Explorer count for his training, so we'll see what happens with him. You know, I'm not a Giants fan, but to have Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston above Daniel Jones, I don't know, man. That's disrespectful to me. That's disrespectful. Daniel Jones ain't that trash. You got Andy Dalton above Jared Goff. I just can't get behind that. I can't get behind that. He said, I'm convinced the whole list was made just to get clicks. It definitely was. It definitely was. What's goody, brother?
Yeah, you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, way better, way better. There we go.
Perfect.
That's the sultry voice we were waiting for. What's good, Hunter? How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. How's everyone else doing? How you doing, man?
I can't complain. No complaints over here. So what were your first initial thoughts? Because I'm over here just ranting right now. But what were your initial thoughts with this top 40 list? I mean, Jalen Hurts, you know, and aside from Jalen Hurts, just the list in general.
Yeah, it was pretty unbelievable. I mean, this guy's got to be looking for clicks, like you said. I don't understand some of the. We'll get into all of it. I just don't understand some of the choices. I don't get how Drew Lock is ahead of Jalen Hurts, or how I know Justin Fields hasn't played a game, but I would still take Justin Fields over some of the guys he has there. And
definitely,
he was so high on Kellen Mond before the draft too. To me, Kellen Mond was close to this year's Jalen Hurts, but I don't think he was this year's Jalen Hurts. He didn't play in nearly enough high-stakes games. You can argue he didn't have the same talent at Texas A&M, but I got to see it with Kellen Mond first. He's very inconsistent. I know he has the tools, but let's see if he can actually do it first before we put him there ahead of Jalen Hurts, especially when he's probably not even going to play this year. So
exactly.
It's really unfair to put him 30. I wouldn't even have him on any list because there's just too much to find out about Kellen Mond. And Mac Jones and Andy Dalton back to back. Wow, that shocked me. I'm not even going to comment on those two. We'll get into that. But that's just like Taysom Hill 24 too. I mean, this guy, we saw him play a few games this year. He played against Kendall Hinton's Broncos, and he beat the Falcons twice, and then he lost to the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
I was not impressed. I think he could be a starting quarterback, but he's not my 24 starting quarterback in the league. So that's my quick initial thoughts on some of the highway robbery some of the guys got on this list. I don't know.
Chris, look, I've been tagging him on Twitter. Everybody that's watching, go to my Twitter, tag him. I'm at Philly TP. Go tag him because I want him on the show. I tried to get PFF on the show when they first made the Jalen Hurts list, but I don't think they realized how upset I was with the Jalen Hurts list. We were like so close to getting them on the show, and then they were like, oh, actually, maybe not. So probably the same thing will happen with Chris Simms. It is what it is. I feel like when you put something out like this, you have to be willing to defend it because this makes zero sense. This makes zero sense. It's one thing if you're saying this is who I like, but like I said, I'm going to take Jalen Hurts out of the picture for a second. You're telling me Josh Allen, who it took Stephon Diggs, like I saw a meme that it was like Josh Allen took a huge step from year 2 to 3, and the huge step was literally Stephon Diggs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a great weapon and you became better. That's cool. You're not better than Aaron Rodgers. Why are you better than Deshaun Watson? Why are you better than Russell Wilson? Like, that makes zero sense. Like, this just makes no sense to me. You're telling me Kyler Murray, Matt Stafford, Dak Prescott. Look, I think Dak Prescott, he's been falling into a lot of top 10 lists. I can understand it. If he comes back healthy, I understand that he probably will be putting up big numbers. So I'm not going to complain about that. But to put them ahead of Tom Brady, the guy that just won a Super Bowl, that really didn't fall off that much. I mean, in the beginning of the year, he was a little topsy-turvy, right? But, he put on the Jets. He got that team to a Super Bowl. He got them a Super Bowl win. So I just don't get what Chris Simms is thinking. So let's talk first 5 real quick because I want to rework this. I want to rework this whole thing. So we're gonna do the top 5. We got we'll do top 5. We got Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. Would you change any of that? Would you move anyone into the top 5, anyone out of the top 5? What are your thoughts? And then I'll kind of go off of you as well.
Yeah, I think we'll both agree Mahomes is probably number 1 just off of sheer talent alone. I mean, he's not perfect. I think people get that twisted a little bit. Like,
Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond, though.
Yeah, but maybe by year's end he'll be number one on the list. Oh my gosh! But yeah, like Mahomes, I think we can both probably agree. Maybe you'll have someone else like Rodgers or someone, but I mean, he's not perfect. He's still got his issues. He's still got footwork issues. Sometimes just bailing out of the pocket prematurely. But I mean, it's very nitpicky with him. Allen too. Look, I respect Allen. I expected him. I really did think he was going to take that jump last year. But to me, I give a lot of credit to Brian Daboll and, like you said, the front office for bringing in Stephon Diggs, even bringing in role players like Gabriel Davis. Let's keep in mind that the Bills ran a lot of 10 personnel with 4 wideouts. They spread the field out a lot. That helps a young quarterback out. And I don't want to take anything away from Josh Allen and the intangibles he showed, but I do think we have to keep in mind that it wasn't just all him. Whereas I think when you're talking about the top 5 guys, these are guys who, a lot of them, they take it upon themselves and they do a lot of the work. And when everything seems lost, they can carry a team like a Patrick Mahomes, like an Aaron Rodgers, like a Russell Wilson, and like a Deshaun Watson, who they can all make magic out of nothing, right? I'm not saying Josh Allen can't do that. We've seen him play very well in broken plays and stuff like that. He can improvise, especially with his legs, but I don't know if he can do it to the extent where, look, we need a game-winning drive. You're going to have to go out there and do some stuff. They know what's coming, and we need you to go make something happen. I don't know if Josh Allen can do it to the same extent consistently over the next, 5 or so years. I want to see it first. He's had one good year, and I do think the talent is there, but to me, I would put him 5 out of these 5 guys. I think that Rodgers is 2 for me. Wilson's probably 3 for me. I it's close between him and Watson, but to me, Wilson is the 3rd best quarterback in the league right now. And then I'd have Watson 4 and then Allen 5. So that's what my order would be for this top 5. I don't really agree with some of these rankings he's putting out there. Especially Josh Allen still had his footwork struggles last year too. Shout out to Gate City Sports. He covered that a little bit as well. And Brian Daboll, a lot of it really was the scheme that opened it up for him. So I don't want to take credit away from him, but I do want to give credit to what was around him.
Yeah. See, as far as the top 5, so you're saying Pat Mahomes, I'm keeping this because I have terrible memory. But you're saying Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Sean Watson, and then Allen. Realistically, I agree with probably everything except for I think we differ at one spot, and that's Rodgers and Wilson. I'm probably taking Wilson over Rodgers, but I think it's close. I think you're I won't like fight too hard for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's very close. So yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you Rodgers. Honestly, I will give you Rodgers just because, Rodgers has been doing it forever. And Russell Wilson, I think it's more of just that I've seen him kill us so much. So maybe that's why I'm saying that.
Yeah.
And then
I think it's close. I think it's very close.
And then Allen at 5 makes sense. If I look at some of these guys, would I put a Tom Brady in the top 5? I definitely wouldn't put a Lamar in the top 5. The only person I could really maybe think you would want to put up there is a Tom Brady, but I don't know. I have him probably around 6 to 7. I'll agree with your top 5. I'll agree with your top 5 because I like it. So we'll go Patrick Mahomes, Rodgers, Wilson, Watson, and Allen. All right, cool. So then we're gonna go 6 to 10 now. All right.
Okay.
You hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, cool. All right, so we're gonna go 6 to 10 now. So they have number 6, Lamar Jackson, number 7, Kyler Murray, number 8, Matthew Stafford, number 9, Dak Prescott, and then number 10, Tom Brady. Quickly, I'll go over mine since I had you go first the first time. For me,
go for it.
I would probably switch Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady. And then move everybody else down. So I would probably have Tom Brady at 6, Lamar Jackson at 7. I'd probably put Dak Prescott at 8. And then I don't even think Matthew Stafford's top 10. Oh, we lost him. I don't even think Matthew Stafford's top 10. I don't know. This one's a hard one. I would definitely go Tom Brady at number 6 because I think you have to give him that love. You got to give him that. And then do I go Lamar Jackson or Dak or Strawberries are blue, apples are purple. I don't know what that means, bro. I don't know what that means. Stafford is top 10 with LA, not with the Lions. But that's going off of maybe's what he could be.
All right, we back.
Right,
We good now?
We good.
My
good.
microphone good?
Yeah, it's decent. It's good. It's
All
good.
right. My apologies for the technical difficulties, everyone.
You good. All right, so from 6 to 10, what I was basically saying is like I would probably put Tom Brady at 6. But then my question becomes like, do you just move everybody down? I don't really think Matthew Stafford's better than Dak Prescott. I don't really know if I think that Kyler or Lamar are better than Dak Prescott, but they have good weapons.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is a tough one.
This is definitely tough because I think especially with Kyler and Lamar specifically, and I don't want to be one of those people who says he's a running back because I think he definitely has shown he is a capable passer at the NFL level, just not to the extent of a lot of other passers. But, at the end, I think he's one of the most dynamic players in the NFL. But in terms of, comparing him to other quarterbacks and how their passing attributes can carry their team, I definitely think that 6 is a little bit high because I would agree. I think just the way Brady did have his issues last year at being, I think the way Brady can read the field, especially at this point in his career too, he's seen it all. Like he's seen every single coverage, every single front you throw at him. So I think I'd probably put him 6 as well. But Kyler and Lamar, especially Kyler, I know he was hurt last year, but I do want to see a little bit more because there were times he just looks to scramble and teams are ready for it. Teams are containing, teams are putting a spy on him, and you're not always going to be able to save yourself against. You're not going to be playing Jim Schwartz defense every day where you're not going to have a spy on you, right? You got to be able to get it done more as a passer, especially because Cliff Kingsbury is one of those aired out types of guys. They go a lot of 4 wide outs and everything. They're an air raid offense, so I need to see a little more of him as a passer in that system. Maybe he'd be a little better in another system, but yeah, it's a little bit tough. I always complain about Dak with just the fact that a lot of it is just empty calories, as Shannon Sharp says, and I'm not a big Shannon Skip guy, but I think just when you're down that many points, and I know the defense is part of it, but also it's part of him going 3 and out. When you're down that many points and you're checking down the ball, the defense is playing back, just trying to preserve a lead, especially when you're down that early in the game. You have a lot of game left to pad those stats too, especially when you can't run the ball at that point. So I personally would take Stafford over Prescott just off of pure arm talent and late game. I think late game ability too. I really like Stafford down the stretch. Not every game, but you saw him when Atlanta scored the touchdown and gave him a second chance last year. That was crazy, but he rifled that touchdown in there. And just off of experience too, I'd probably take Stafford. I think it's close between them, but I would probably go out of these 5. I would go probably Brady. I would agree on Brady 6 after what he did down the stretch last year. Yeah. I would go Stafford 7. I would give Prescott. It's tough. I want to try to be unbiased with him. I would probably give him 8 because I still think he is a very good quarterback, and I do think as a passer, I think he does more than Kyler and Lamar. Which I do think the running ability is important, but I do think at the same time, I think that the passing ability, just at the quarterback position, that is what ends up winning and losing you games. While the running can bail you out at times, I do think at the end of the game, you're going to have to show up as a passer. And Lamar's only done that once in the playoffs. You can say the same about Prescott too, to be fair. And he has all the talent in the world. So to me, it's kind of a toss-up. I'll go Kyler 8. I'll go out on a limb and say I think he's going to have a heck of a season next year. I do think he has a lot of potential as a passer too. And then I'm really trying to be unbiased here. That's the only reason. So I'll go Dak 9 and Lamar 10. Maybe call me crazy on the last 3, but I definitely think that for me it's definitely Brady, Stafford 6, 7 for me.
Yeah, I'll agree there. I think Stafford and Prescott are close. You know what I'm saying? But I think he's got it. Yeah, I think that they're close. But for me, I don't know. I think Prescott's better than Kyler just because he's done it before, and the weapons he has, we kind of know what we're going to probably get from that. You know what I'm saying? Like he has 3. I've said this before. He has 3 receivers that could probably hit 1,000 yards really irregardless of who their quarterback is. We kind of saw it last year. I mean, they're going to get there. So I would probably put Prescott right above Kyler, but I agree with you as far as Kyler over Lamar. So, I mean, I would go, like you said, like we were saying, 6 and 7 would be Brady and Stafford. But I would probably have to say Prescott. So, I mean, at least we agree with the people in the top 10 so far. So that's good.
Right.
So let's move on to, I guess, 11 to 16, I guess. Yeah, 11 to 16. So this is where it starts getting a little choppy, in my opinion. So you got Justin Herbert, you got Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr, Matt Ryan, and Kirk Cousins. So, me personally, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, Justin Herbert, I get it. He went crazy last year. He might again, you know what I'm saying? He had a really good, rookie year. Ryan Tannehill, he has all the weapons in the world. Like, I don't think he's going to have to really be a good quarterback. Like, he just has to not be terrible, and they should do the most of the work. I mean, Baker Mayfield has been up and down. It took a great running game for him to really, do well, in my opinion. I think that he's a good arm talent, but he's just been very inconsistent. Derek Carr, I feel like they've been trying to get Derek Carr out of Oakland for like the past 20 years. Like, before they even signed him, I feel like they were trying to get him out of there. Matt Ryan and Kirk Cousins. Matt Ryan, I think, probably deserves to be higher. Kirk Cousins, he puts up a lot of numbers, doesn't win a lot of games. I don't know. This is a hard one. Yeah. This is tough. Because, I mean, they do. Yeah. They all have their positives, but they all do have their negatives. I mean, if I'm just going off of it and just looking at it and just saying names, the only thing I would probably change is I would probably put Matt Ryan up at 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I would probably change Justin Herbert and Ryan Tannehill. So I would probably go number 11, Matt Ryan, number 12, Ryan Tannehill, 13, Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
And then they could keep the rest. I mean, Baker, Derek Carr, and Kirk, I guess. I might put Joe Burrow above all those three, to be honest.
That's what I was just about to say. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably would. Because Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, and Baker, I'd probably take Joe Burrow over all three of those.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would probably go Matt Ryan, I think, is still up there too. I agree. He's still proven he can be a solid quarterback. While the team overall has been great at blowing games, and obviously they've had their woes. I think the defensive side of the ball really sucks there. And yes, he has had Julio and Calvin, but outside of them, like, I know he had Hooper a little bit too, but Hooper didn't exactly come into his prime until his last year in Atlanta. And outside of Julio and Calvin, I mean, they have Olamide Zaccheaus. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Olamide, but he's not exactly a starting wide receiver in the league, in my opinion. At least not yet. And they haven't had much of a run game. I mean, they had Devontae Freeman for a little bit there, but he kind of faded away too. So I want to give Matt Ryan credit where credit is due. I still think he's a solid quarterback. Herbert, I am really excited to see Herbert next year. I think I agree. It's tough to put him there right now, but I think the argument is there, and I think that he could be top 10 by the end of the year. I think he definitely could be. He has all the talent in the world. He proved a lot of people wrong last year. Accuracy was really on point, ball placement especially, and it was fun watching him play. I remember, they were playing the Raiders. I think I watched, was the one game I watched almost all the way through for him, and he just put on a show, and it was just back and forth, and he was battling. Like, this kid is a warrior. And, we'll see. He could also be one of those guys, maybe teams have more film on him. Maybe they figure him out. I mean, I think a lot of people are very high on him. And, sometimes it tends to be those sleeper guys in year two that end up panning out. But I still think Justin is going to be really good. And then, like you said, like after that, it's, I definitely would have, it's definitely in some order, it's Ryan, Tannehill, Herbert, the first three. I would agree, because Tannehill and Baker, I feel like their situations are very similar. Because I think with Chubb and Hunt, you get similar production to. I'm not saying they're, they are together. They're better than Derek, because I still think Derek is insane. But I think you get similar production to Derrick Henry, and I think Tannehill makes a lot of throws he needs to make. Whereas Baker, he will miss a throw or two here and there. Yeah. So I would say Tannehill. I'd put him. I'd probably go like you. I'd probably go Ryan 11. I'd probably go Herbert 12, and then Tannehill 13. And then after that, I think Baker's definitely 14 for me. 15, 16, I'd probably go 15 Burrow. I really think that kid is just there. And I even coming off of an injury, I think he got injured. He didn't get injured like too late in the year to where he's not going to be able to come back. Like he's going to be back week 1. He's going to be ready. I'm having 15, and then I'll go Derek Carr 16 because again, like you said, Kirk is not clutch. He makes the poor throws in the moments that matter most. Whereas Derek has shown that at times he can get it done in the big moments. Sometimes he doesn't, but I definitely think Derek is a little underrated around the league. So I'll take. I don't know why they always try to get rid of him. I get it. I get why, but like you got to be able to get an upgrade from his production if you really think you're a contender right now. So
yeah, and we talk about players not having much around him. Derek Carr hasn't had anything around him. Like he's had the bare minimum, if that. I mean, they go out and get Henry Ruggs, and I mean, Henry Ruggs didn't have the greatest of first year, so we'll see what they can do. Obviously, he has Darren Waller. That's a huge weapon to have. But outside of that, his running game got a little bit better now that he has Josh Jacobs. But for the most part of his career, he didn't have anything. He was getting beat up like his brother. So it is what it is. Hopefully they figure it out. But I agree with everything. The only thing I would change is Tannehill and Herbert. I would put Tannehill just above Herbert. But I mean, I think it's. You know what I'm saying? It's 6 one way, half a dozen the other, I think is the saying. So it is what it is. So we're at 18.
I like that saying, 6 one way, half a dozen the other.
Yeah, I forget who told me that, but either way. So we're at 18 now. And I just want to say, shout out to us, because I'm sure a lot of people were thinking, they're going to put, Jalen Hurts top 15. These guys can't be unbiased. No, we're unbiased, all right? We just know that he messed this list up. But anyway, so we're at 18. Now, the next 5 that we're going to go over is the artist formerly known as Carson Wentz, Sam Darnold, Cam Newton, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Ben Roethlisberger. Off rip, I'm putting Ben over all these guys, if I'm being honest.
That's what I was just thinking, yeah.
Like, I don't understand how you put him behind Jimmy Garoppolo, who didn't do anything and was hurt all year. Cam Newton, who was I love Cam, bro, but it was bad out there in New England, man. And it's not all his fault. It's not like he had, a bunch of different players helping him out, but it wasn't pretty. I'll say that much. And then Sam Darnold, he's going to a new system that could help him. Hopefully there's no ghosts in Carolina, but, I don't know. And then Carson Wentz, no. So I'll start by just saying I'm going to put Ben Roethlisberger at 18. The rest of them, I might even throw some of these out. I might even throw some of these out of this 5, to be honest. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I honestly don't even know.
Yeah, well, I kicked Kirk out of my my last list. So out of these guys, I'd probably put Ben over Kirk. I would say that might be a little bit of a hot take, but I'd probably go Ben Kirk because I think Ben, while I know they spread it out a little bit for him too, but I still think, he's an experienced veteran signal caller. There's a reason they brought him back for another season, also because they don't really have a young QB. But at the same time, he's still a guy who can get it done. Look, I know they had one of the biggest collapses, but they still went 11-5 with him, and considering his age, I give him the nod for that. So, given that, if we're talking about collapses, the next guy who's up, Kirk, I already talked about him, so he's my next guy out of the list.
So, but would you put Ben over Carr?
That's tough. I know Ben's definitely more of a winner, but at the same time, just what Carr's had around him, I just don't like John Gruden as a coach too. Whereas I think Mike Tomlin, I think at least helps Ben on the defensive side of the ball. So I think it's close. I'd personally probably go Carr, but. Would you go Carr over Ben or Ben over Carr?
I would think it's close. I would think it's close. I definitely would put Ben over Kirk Cousins, but I think it's close. I think Carr and Ben, you won't get the same thing, but you get production out of both of them. Ben is just older. That's the only thing. If it was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I definitely would have. But maybe maybe now, maybe it's just something I'm kind of spitting in the wind. But yeah, I think it's close. I think Ben still got another good year. So you say Ben over Kirk? I can agree with that.
Yeah, and then Kirk after that. Out of the next few, I feel like Wentz and Darnold are very similar situations right now because they both are going into new situation, better personnel, new coaching, who they're probably going to be comfortable with. So they're in a very similar situation where they're in prove-it years right now, and they're coming off of really bad years. Obviously, Darnold had, I would argue, a much worse situation around him, even though the Eagles kind of went haywire too. So I would probably, it's really close. I would probably, I feel like Carson's in such a better situation than Darnold right now, just because the Colts are really set up to be Super Bowl contenders, and a lot of it's on him. So I'm going to go with Carson after Kirk, and then I would go Darnold. Cam, there's no way he's even in my top 25 right now, I'd say. I'm sorry. Like, I liked him too when he was, I love the swag he brought when he was in Carolina, man, but he's at a point in his career, like, when they did not run the ball with him and, he wasn't a threat to be, QB on a QB run, that offense, like, it's just almost like watching Dwayne Haskins try to throw further than 10 yards. And I feel bad for that because Cam just has an awkward delivery, but he's not it anymore. So I guess bringing into that list, I know that he hasn't played a game yet, but I would probably I might put Trevor Lawrence 20, man. I mean, I know that's definitely, he hasn't played a game yet, but I do think you're going to see him rise up those boards later in the year. And I think you can say he's probably going to be better than Cam. I think Jimmy G, I think you could argue because he's a game manager, whereas you could argue that Trevor needs to play first. But given Trevor's skill set, I'm going to put him 20, and then I would probably I'll keep Jimmy G 21 because he had injuries. The 49ers had injuries last year, and I think this year's going to be his audition. Obviously, he's not the future in San Francisco. It's his audition to be a starter on another team in the league once they move on to Trey Lance. So he's got a lot on him this year, and then 22. I don't know if I'd put Fitzmagic there. I might, as much as I really don't like him, and I think he's not a good quarterback, I'd probably put Jared Goff here, just because I think I think a lot of it was the system. McVay is a big part of it, in my opinion, because he made it so easy for Jared Goff. I could go into it, but I'm not gonna. I'd still put him here because I think when comfortable, I think he's good enough. So,
see, all right. So, obviously, I hate Carson Wentz, man. So and it is what it is. And this is me being unbiased. I do hate him, but this is me trying to be unbiased. Right. I don't think he's number 18, but I mean number 19. But realistically, there's not many better options right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So as much as it hurts me, I can see why you would put him there. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying too hard to find somebody to put there, so I have to keep him there. It is what it is. Like I'm not, I can't say.
That's what I was doing too. I was like, man, there's like miles to put here.
Yeah, I don't want him there, but like, damn. And then Trevor Lawrence, I could see that. I could definitely see him being really good. I don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to even start the full year next year, so that's what kind of scares me about keeping him there. What would I do? I'll say this. I'll do this. I'm going to put... I agree with you on Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to ball out. I think he has no real other option, I should say, because he's a team right now. But I am going to take out Jimmy G, and people might not agree with me here, but I'm going to put Sam Darnold there. Because I do think him having Rodney Anderson, or whatever, I forget his name.
Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson that was supposed to come to the Eagles. He has another good wide receiver in DJ Moore. He has obviously an all-world running back. So I think that offense is going to help him out a lot. So, I will say I think Sam Darnold deserves to be there. I do think that he's going to have an uptick, and I do think that he's talented. So I'll put Sam Darnold there.
Yeah, you see that? You see some of those sidearm throws he made last year, even with the Jets.
Yeah, he's not trash, man. That's the thing. I mean, it's the Jets, bro. and
that's
have nobody.
That's one of the things I think is important to remember too when we look over him is like, yes, you can point to like his missed throw percentage and a lot of the bad throw percentage that he had, but at the same time, when your team around you is like his, your confidence deteriorates as the season goes on. Like, it is hard to gain your confidence back in that situation. So I want to point that out with Darnold too.
I agree. No, I saw him play against the Penn State in the Rose Bowl. And ever since then, I was like, yeah, this kid's got something, bro. So I'll never forget that game.
Deontay Burnett catching Deontay Burnett with the 3 tutties in that game.
Yeah, it was a good game. It was a crazy game, back and forth game.
Yeah.
But, Matt Spillane said, where's Wentz on Indy under Frank Reich on this list and on y'all's list? So their list, it was just number 18 on our list. Right now, we have them at number 19.
Yeah.
I mean, we've changed a lot of this list. Like, I was going to say, like, we kind of agree with most of it, but we really don't. Most of it, I was looking at it like, damn, we changed, like, all this list. So, all right, so Sam Darnold. And then, honestly, I'm going to bring up, do I put Jimmy G here? I think I do put Jimmy G here. I think this, I think that's fair. I think Jimmy, if he can play the whole year, I think that 22 is a fair spot at the very worst.
Yeah.
And then 20. All right, so then that was that, right? No, we got one more. 20. All right, so now we're at 22, and we'll do 22 through 26. So they have Ben Roethlisberger, but we already used him. Yeah. So who's left? Who did we not use from this list?
Cam.
Cam. All right, so the next tier, I guess, would be Cam Newton, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Taysom Hill, Jameis Winston, and Daniel Jones. These are all world breakers, by the way. I just want to say these are dominating forces in the NFL right now.
Franchise.
I'm going to say this, and I know I'm going to probably get hate on this, but no, you said Jared Goff too, right? You wanted to put Jared Goff.
I did. I think I put him right behind Jimmy G.
Okay,
so I might have gone one extra on the last one.
That's cool. I could live with that because I was just gonna say Jared Goff should be ahead of all those guys, but I forgot to say it. So that's perfect. So all right. So Cam, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Taysom Hill, Winston, and Daniel Jones. I'd probably, as much as it hurts me to say this, I'd probably put Daniel Jones ahead.
I agree.
To be real, I think he's the next best quarterback on this list.
Yep.
So all right, so we agree there. That's good. We're getting there. We're at 24. All right, so Daniel Jones for number 24. After that, it kind of becomes, dart throws, in my opinion.
I would take famous Jameis just because I think he's had a year now to reflect on his 30-30 season. Maybe they'll make a 30 for 30 about that. But he's had a year to reflect on it. Maybe he'll play better under Sean Payton over a full year. So I think out of these guys, we agree on Daniel Jones. So after him, even Cam, I don't think Cam can. I just I believe he threw 6 touchdowns and had 8 picks last year, and he had some fumbles. At this point, he's turning the ball over at a higher rate than Winston was, and then you have Fitzmagic, who is very similar to what Winston was that one year. They're both very much so risk takers. I think that could be honestly a toss-up, but while I like Scott Turner as an OC, I'm going to take Sean Payton with Jameis Winston over that. So I'd probably put famous Jameis right after Daniel.
I agree with those 100%. So we're saying Daniel Jones, Jameis Winston, and then
probably Cam.
Or
Fitzpatrick.
Cam before. Yeah, I was about to say. I'll
Fitzpatrick, yeah. I'll take it. Yeah.
And then, all right, so this kind of, because realistically, let's ask the hard question. We're at number 27. Is Cam Newton, Andy Dalton, Zach Wilson, is Mac Jones, is Teddy Bridgewater, is Drew Lock, is Tua, is Tyrod Taylor? Are all these guys better than Jalen Hurts? Because I'm starting to itch. And I don't think that they are.
No, I think you could make the case for Zach Wilson from his talent standpoint, but he still had 1 year production in college, and he does have a ridiculous arm. And I would say he has a much higher ceiling than Jalen Hurts, but we haven't seen it yet. We haven't Trevor Lawrence is the only guy who Trevor Lawrence. I would even say Justin Fields too. Those are the only 2 guys we haven't seen yet. Who I am so confident in, more so Trevor Lawrence, that we are going to see them definitely rise up these boards. I think you can make the case for Justin Fields over Jalen Hurts. I would have been pissed that we picked a quarterback, but I wouldn't have been as ticked off if we had taken Justin Fields. I'm going to be completely honest. Like, I do think I knew we were going to pick Devontae, but if Devontae was off the board and we were going up to get Justin Fields, I wouldn't have been too upset because I think he is that guy. I don't know why people are, sleeping on him so much. It makes no sense to me. I know I was critical of him during the college season, but in comparison to the other quarterbacks, I think you could put him up there, maybe Wilson, but those are the only two guys out of this. The rest of the guys that I would probably give you over Jalen Hurts.
I might give you Teddy. I might because he's been consistently like average his whole career. So yeah, I might give you that. But yeah, other than those three, I 100% agree. To be honest,
yeah, he's right on. If he's not 25, he's right on the verge. So
yeah, definitely. So all right. Being Jalen, you tell me who you think are better. So you know what I'm saying. I don't want you thinking we being unbiased or biased or whatever. But so what I would say, because I'm 100% with you. If I'm being real, I didn't like Zach Wilson. I've never really other than that, you've heard me rant about him before. I just don't think that he's really real. I think he had that one good year and people are going crazy. I don't think he's that good. We'll see. I could be wrong about him, but I agree with you that he does have a very, very high ceiling. But if it was me, I'm putting Justin Fields. I'm putting, do I put Tyrod or Teddy? Because I'm not putting Zach. I can't put Zach in the top 30 for me, at least.
Yeah,
I don't think he's top 30 for me.
I think with Tyrod, the thing that gets me, and this might be a dumb point, but the point that we were definitely thinking about bringing him in as competition for Jalen Hurts, but ultimately he probably would have been the backup to Jalen Hurts because they have to see what Jalen Hurts can do. If he loses out the job to a Tyrod Taylor or Joe Flacco, he probably shouldn't be here anyway. So yeah. I think that's who knows, maybe Tyrod would have beat him out. I don't want to rule that possibility out, but I do think that I think I would take him over Tyrod at this point in his career because I just think Tyrod is kind of limited. I still think Tyrod is like a verge starting quarterback. I definitely think he's there, but I would say I think I would take Jalen just off of potential alone.
So we're saying after Fitz, I think we both agree on Justin Fields. So would you feel comfortable putting Justin Fields after Fitz?
Would you put him over Jameis yet, or
we put Winston at 25? Well, yeah, right. You put Winston at 25, Fitz at 26.
Did I?
Would you think Justin Fields over Winston right now? But I would, because he's gonna go in there and start. Yeah, but over Fitzpatrick too.
I probably would take him over Fitzpatrick again off of potential alone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I could do that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
That. So we'll move everybody down. So we got Justin Fields at 25. We got Jameis Winston at 26. Fitzpatrick at 27. And then you start looking, and would you put a Teddy B? Would you put a Cam Newton? I guess we got to put him in that.
We got to put Cam somewhere on here.
I mean, that's really the only names on here that I would put over. I'm not putting Andy Dalton over him. I'm not putting Mac Jones over him. I'm not putting Kellen Mond over him. It's getting tough here. Like, I do think, again, I think Tyrod is probably the closest I get because he's a similar quarterback to Jalen. And like Jalen Williams said, I mean, Tyrod can win you a game. He can. We saw it with the Bills a couple years ago. I still think he has that in him, but I do think I don't know if he's the same as he was when he got that wild card berth for them. And we saw it in that opener again. Shout out to the medical dude whoever punctured Tyrod's lung. Oh my gosh, whatever with that. But that's honestly a shame. It's not a shame for Justin Herbert, but I would have liked to see Tyrod play a little bit more. But I think we saw it against that Bengals defense that's not very good. And they got lucky. I mean, the Bengals, Joe Burrow drove downfield and they missed a field goal. I think there was a drop touchdown, missed touchdown from Burrow too in that game. Like, Tyrod did not put up points. He did not play well in that game. And I know it was week one, and things happened week one, but after seeing, and I know it's only one game, but I do think he's at a point in his career where he's kind of, starting to trend on the decline a little bit. So, but I think it's arguable though. Yeah, I think I'm putting. Call me biased. I don't care. I think I'm putting Jalen Hurts at 28. I'm taking him over because realistically, if we and what you said kind of made me feel like this because what you said when you were like we would have brought Tyrod in to be a backup. If we're bringing in Cam, he would be a backup to Jalen Hurts. If we brought in Teddy Bridgewater, while I think that there is a strong possibility that it would be a good competition because I do think Teddy Bridgewater still has talent in there, he would presumably come to be our backup. So I can't put those two players over somebody that I think will be a backup to a player that's still available. So I think that putting Jalen Hurts at 28 is very fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree because again, like I cannot stress enough how bad Cam looked last year. I mean, I like you. I really do like Cam. I love his personality, as weird as he can be sometimes. I think Cam I think he is a hard worker. But every year it's like we hear in the offseason, like, I'm coming back stronger next year. I'm coming back stronger. And then we see him do that on the field last year. Like, in his games that he played, I think Jalen Hurts might have had, like, better overall numbers. Maybe not in terms of totals, but I think he might have been more efficient in terms of stats than Cam Newton was last year. I mean, Jalen also did – there were times where he forced the ball at the end of that Dallas game, and especially the Washington game, we started to see Jalen Hurts force it a little bit too. But there were also times where we saw him say, you know what, play's over, I'm going to throw the ball away. In terms of reading a defense, Jalen is definitely, he's got work to do. But in terms of just handling what's there and doing what is asked of him, I think he is a much more safe quarterback than Cam Newton at this point in Cam's career. And I know it's weird to say because Cam's more experienced, but if I'm starting a team, I'm taking Jalen over Cam because I want to see what Jalen can do, and I know Cam's not really going to do much for me. So, and then Bridgewater, I agree. I think it's a close competition. It really depends what Bridgewater you get some days, what Joe Brady you get, because Joe Brady did have he had his struggles down the stretch. He got a little bit bland, but that's why you go back to the offseason. You fix things. He's still a great coach, but Bridgewater, there's still some things he's got to clean up too. So.
Yeah, and Jalen, shout out to my guy Jalen Williams coming in here. He's a channel member on the other chat. I appreciate you coming in here and being active, talking with us. Yeah. He knows his stuff. I know you've seen Jalen around too, so he knows his stuff. But that's a very good point as well. It's a tricky situation because you have to though at a certain point when you start thinking of when you look at somebody like Cam Newton, you look at somebody like a Jalen Hurts. You see a lot of similarities, but one is at the end of their road, one is just starting their journey. So it's like. You get extra ticks on that board for, the upside. So it is what it is. So let's at least get to 30. I think we could probably do the whole 40. But so Jalen Hurts, and then I think Cam, Andy Dalton, Teddy Bridgewater are names that you got to throw at these number 29, 30 spots. Me personally, I'll probably go Teddy B as 28. So I'll probably do Teddy B at 20. Where are we at? 29. Teddy B at 29, and then I don't know. We still have Taysom Hill too.
Yeah, I know Andy had a better team around him last year, but I'd probably go him over Cam at this point.
Yeah, What do you think about Taysom Hill? Is he somebody you even? I don't know how he's number 24.
Yeah, Taysom's just very confusing. Again, like his sample size was very weird last year. Again, Atlanta twice. Philadelphia once, where he didn't really play all that well. Underthrew some of his deep balls to, and then Kendall Hinton's Broncos. And a lot of it is really good with just the QB power and the read option and all that they did with Taysom Hill. So I think it's very, very well designed around him, and they have the personnel to have success with him. But I think if you get him on a lot of other teams, I don't think he's all that. I don't. I think he's a good utility player. I really do, but I don't think he's going to be a starting quarterback in the future.
Yeah, it don't make no sense that you could put him above people like Zach Wilson, even Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
this dude's supposed to be like a generational talent, and you got Taysom Hill, but like it just doesn't make any sense. So all right, so at 29 we got what did we say?
It was Teddy B and then Dalton and then Cam, right? I think that's what I had at least. I know we both agreed on Teddy B.
And then Cam. All right, so we're at 32.
Okay.
The people we have left, we got. I would probably put Zach Wilson here. This would be my next three, and you tell me if you agree with me. I would do Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. Yeah, that's all right. I'll do Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and then probably Tyrod Taylor.
Okay. Not a Tua believer?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
I think they
He had
might
his struggles.
win in spite of him. Yeah, he was pretty bad last year. I mean, he wasn't like, oh my God, the worst thing, but like even on the scale of rookie, seasons where you kind of it was pretty ugly.
Got a lot to fix.
Definitely.
Yeah,
So,
I would agree. I like Zach Wilson here off of pure talent. I think Trey Lance might do better because of the system he's going to be in, but I think I would take Zach Wilson right now. Especially the Jets. The Jets did sign Corey Davis. They got Elijah Moore. Like they're getting better. And then who was it there? You said Tyrod.
Yeah.
Looking down the rest of the list. I mean, the only one I think you could maybe make an argument for would maybe be Marcus Mariota because we haven't seen him play in a year, and I do think even when he was playing bad on the Titans, I don't think it was like I think it was just they needed to see what Tannehill had, and not a lot. If they hadn't had Tannehill, I don't know if he would have come out that season. But I still think Mariota's like a solid. I think it's very close because him and Tyrod, when they've started, they've been on around the same level where it's like 9-7, 8-8 kind of level. So I think them it's kind of a toss up for me. Maybe Mariota because he's a little bit younger. But
where is Mariota? He's in Oakland right now. I mean, Las Vegas, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's tricky. What if he does take Carr at number 16, the number 16 guy we got? This is crazy. This is harder than I thought. So I'm going to say this, Sims, your list is still dumb. It's still a terrible list, but it is harder than I thought. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Being unbiased with it. So shout out to him. He tried, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But
participation.
I can agree that it's really close with Marcus and Tyrod. I'd probably put Tyrod ahead of him.
I gotcha.
I mean, like I said, it's really close. Where is Tyrod right now? Is he back? He's not back in Buffalo, is he? Where is he?
He's in Houston now.
Houston. So he might end up starting.
The whole Deshaun Watson thing kind of like faded away. I don't know what the deal is right now, but
yeah, he might end up starting out there. Who knows? So I'm going to put Tyrod just slightly ahead, but I think it's very close. And then all right, we got like 5 more. So. Who are the names left? We got Drew Lock. We got Tua. We got Mac Jones. Who? Mac Jones. Kellen Mond. Case Keenum. How would you organize? Oh, and Taysom Hill.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about Taysom Hill.
I think everybody forgot about Taysom
Hill. Oh, man. Yeah, this is definitely a tough one. I want to go Tua here because I want to believe that he's going to bounce back in year 2. I don't know how much he'll bounce back, but I want to believe he will get better and that he still has that upside. Because like Jalen said, like part of it is upside, and I do want to say like that is part of the list that we've kind of how we've been ranking at least, and it's something you got to consider. So with these guys, so I'm going off of the upside they have and not really what I think they will be. So I think. I'd probably put Tua there. Taysom, I'm still really struggling to put him down. Like I don't think he's going to be a starting quarterback in the league. Who else do you say? Who else do we got here? We got Drew Lock still.
Mac Jones.
Mac's not going to be. I don't even know if I'm very biased against Mac. I don't know. My top 40. I'm gonna ride that boat until it crashes with the Mac Jones. Anti-hype train, as I'll call it. But man, I might even put Jacoby Brissett in front of some of these guys, man. If I'm being honest,
how did he not make the list too?
I'd probably take him over Locke if I'm being honest. I think Locke is a very poor quarterback. Yeah, I don't know. Also, one thing I want to ask you too, while we're coming down the home stretch of this, would you put Jordan Love anywhere here in your top 40? It's hard.
I have no idea what he is, to be honest. Like that, if I saw one game out of him, it might be a little easier.
We'll get to see him preseason this year for the first time.
So maybe, and especially we talk about that. In Houston, there's some turmoil at the quarterback position, but it seems like there is in Green Bay as well. So who knows what happens with that? But that's a very good question. I mean, I probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
Not that I wouldn't, just because I literally have no idea what he's going to be. I think he can be good.
Right.
I don't think Green Bay's ever really missed when they go for top quarterbacks, at least lately, it
Right.
feels like. So I hope he's good. But I don't think you can put him on this list just yet. And to answer Matt's question real quick, we put Carson Wentz at number 19, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, number 19, we had Carson Wentz.
Yeah, and then a couple other guys I want to mention who I want to get your opinion on too. Two guys, because I just think, again, I don't want to bash Drew Lock too much, but I really do take issue with him being as high as he was, because I think he was really poor last year. I do, and especially Kellen Mond. I don't want to see him on this list yet until he plays a game. That's also another thing. So. Would you probably? I'd probably put Mitch top 40 Trubisky because he's bad. He is bad, but hey, he's still they still did well enough. I think he's still a good backup. And Minshew had his struggles. He's not. He got taken out of the role, but there's one or two guys. Again, we did make the point about upside. So to be fair, Minshew, we kind of see where he is now. But I think there's a guy or two you could argue him over, maybe. But what do you think about those two?
Did you just bring up Minshew? Because I do like Minshew. I think Minshew could be a starter somewhere, real talk. Maybe not like a franchise guy, but he can get you, by for the next 2-3 years if you're trying to build a team. I like him a lot.
I agree.
I have no problem. But I was kind of, beating the table for us to pick him up as the Eagles because I like him a lot, to be right.
Yeah.
But Mitch... This is where the question comes. This is what my question is. I would take Minshew over Drew Lock, right? And I feel like he's the last starter in the league right now. So you got to put that, or at least on this list. So I would personally take Minshew over Drew Lock. Would I take Mitch Trubisky over Drew Lock? I don't know. Maybe Mitch will be like number 40 just to get Kellen Mond up off the list. You know what I'm saying? Because I just don't understand how you put a third round. I think he was third round. I don't see how you put that on
it's like if Jalen Hurts was on the list last year.
Yeah, it's just, and even worse. That is, that's a good, because it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't make sense at all. He hasn't done much. He's a third round guy. I don't know. So I would personally go like this. I would go, now that you bring him up, honestly, I wasn't even thinking of him, but my last 3 or last 4 would probably be, let me just make sure before I say this, because we have Tua at number 36, so we need 37, 38, 39, 40. I would say Minshew. Then I would probably say Drew Lock. And then I would say Case Keenum. And then I would say Mitch Trubisky. That would be my last 4.
I 100% agree in that order too. Especially, I do want to give Chris Sims credit. I'm glad he put Keenum on the list because I do think you see what Kevin Stefanski and him did in Minnesota. And if Keenum has to come in, I don't think he's going to be on Baker's level. I think there is a pretty big difference between those two. But I do think if he comes in, he could definitely win them some games. I think Keenum is a top-tier quarterback for sure, or backup quarterback for sure. So I would 100% agree with you. I'd probably put. This is tough. Again, like you said, credit to Sims because it is a tough list to put together. And he gave his participation. He got his participation trophy, but I really want to put Brissett on here somewhere. I just don't know. It is.
I would trade Brissett. Number 40. I honestly just gave it to Trubisky to get Mond off the list because I think he has no place on here. So I wouldn't be mad at giving that to Jacoby Brissett.
I feel like after seeing Trubisky last year and seeing Brissett in the 1 year he started, it's pretty similar. It was a pretty similar outcome. The only thing I think you could argue is that Trubisky made the playoffs his sophomore year, but was that a result of Nagy not having film on him?
Yeah, and Trubisky had terrible coaching in my opinion. If I'm being 100%, I don't think that offense is doing him any favors. It was obvious when you losing all these guys that don't want to play for you no more. So it is what it is. I feel comfortable putting Jacoby Brissett over Mitch Trubisky though, because honestly, I would not want. That's actually a good one. That's a good. I mean, he went in and he did his thing last year. It wasn't great. He didn't win, but Nah, I think I would put Jacoby still over Taylor though. That's a good question though. He might end up taking that job.
Yeah, just got to see more from him, especially like we've seen more from Nick Mullins than we have. And Nick Mullins, keep in mind, like he had a great start to his career too, but more film again.
Facts. Yeah, we all see that stat that we all hate. He got like 4,000 yards in his first 16 games. Everybody hates when I bring that up. So all right, let's go over our top 40 list. All right.
Okay.
So the first one is Patrick Mahomes. Second, Rodgers, Wilson, Watson, Allen. That's our top 5. 6 through 10 is Tom Brady, Stafford, Prescott, Kyler, Lamar, and Matt Ryan. 12 through 20 is going to be Tannehill, Herbert, Baker, Joe Burrows, Derek Carr, Big Ben, Kirk Cousins, Carson Wentz. Everybody used to say that to me about Carson Wentz. I can't be using that. I got to come up with a new one. Trevor Lawrence. And then 21 through 30 is Sam Darnold, Jimmy Garoppolo, Jared Goff, Daniel Jones, Justin Fields, Jameis Winston, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Jalen Hurts, Teddy Bridgewater, and Andy Dalton. And then the last 10, the Mr. of Relevance, would be number 31 is Cam Newton, then Zach Wilson, then Trey Lance, then Tyrod Taylor, then Marcus Mariota, then Tua Tagovailoa. I can't say it. I tried though.
That was good.
Then Gardner Minshew, Drew Lock, Case Keenum, and Jacoby Brissett. So to answer the question of the day, do we agree that Jalen Hurts is a top 25 quarterback? We must disagree because we did not rank him there. We ranked him at 28. So we do see him as a top 30. We do see him as a starter in this league, which funny enough, he is. He's one of the 32 starters. So I do think that he is top 30. I think 28 is a very, very fair spot for him. How do you feel after going through the list? Do you think that's we were fair here?
When I came in and looked at the poll, I was like, I'll probably have him at 25. And then, like you said, as we started going through the list, I'm like, there's a lot of guys. Like we didn't even like Matt Splin said, like we didn't even rank Foles. There were other guys we didn't even rank who I think Foles isn't great, but when you think of backup quarterbacks, you're like, there's a lot of guys who are, I think, worthy of top 40, top 45-ish. But when you get further into it, you're like, wow, like there are some really good backup quarterbacks in the league. Makes you think we're fortunate to have Nick Mullins as our third string. That's a good third string. But yeah, it is crazy. But I think he's got the perfect spot. He's kind of on that verge of he's a starter, but we're not sure what he is yet. And he has the potential to be a top 25, but we just don't know yet. So I like where we put him. So I'm glad we disagree to the poll because I think it just shows, while he might not, he should be a top 40 quarterback, he still has a ways to go. So
yeah, definitely. And I think that's what people needed to realize because everybody sees that we were upset about the list. I was upset about the whole list, but, obviously Jalen Hurts is a big part of it. I definitely think Jalen Hurts is a top 30 guy, so I'm glad we were able to, unbiasedly prove that. I think that we've, been truthful, and I think that we unbiasedly proved that. We didn't change too much around. We just kind of, we fixed it. We made it better. You know what I'm saying? That's what we were here to do. So he said, Lord Benson probably thinks top 1. That's what I like. That's what I like. LB brings that smoke. That's how it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And another question I want to ask, since he did bring it up, what do you think about Joe Flacco? Do you think he would be in this top 40 at all?
Probably not, just because, I know he had a bad team with the Jets last year, but and with the Broncos too. To be fair, you need protection, and we will see if he does get to play this year. We'll see him with actual O-line protection if he has to start at any point. Let's hope not, but let's hope if he does start, it's only a small injury to Jalen Hurts, but I think it's tough to put him there. He's definitely one of those guys. He's really come down the home stretch of his career. But I think the case is there for top 40. Like I think you look at some, we were like really struggling for those last few guys at the end of the list, and I think a lot of them we ended up going with them because of the upside again. But I do think that there's a couple guys you could argue that Joe Flacco can win a game or two at in similar fashion to some of the other guys on the list. I think Keenum, the draw really to me is just this whole Stefanski connection, but Flacco I think it's arguable though.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't like Joe Flacco. I really don't. I don't know what it is. When he first got signed, I was kind of cool with it. I was like, all right, another Joe on the team. You know what I'm saying? Audubon Joe. This is kind of cool. But as time has gone on, I've not heard like one good story of him. Like, I haven't heard one thing like, oh, Joe Flacco was seen with Jalen Hurts just talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't seen anything. Every time I see, highlights or film, they're just back to back. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not.
Right.
Doesn't seem like there's any connection there. There's no friendship there.
Like,
I could be wrong. I could be 100%.
Like Carson and Jalen last year.
Yeah, at least it felt like, like it's, I don't know, like high five or something. Do something for the camera. Like, you came out and said that you're not going to give him the job, that you want the job, that you're not going to teach him. You're going to teach through competition. So, I don't know. He just makes me nervous. I don't really like him. I'm fighting for Nick Mullins to get that number 2 spot. But it is what it is, man. So I'm gonna take our top 40 list. I'm gonna put it up on Instagram. I'll put it up on Twitter, and we'll probably talk about it again on our channel at some point. But if you guys do not know who my brother over here is, be sure to go check him out at Philly Insider Podcast. It's on YouTube. Works for Fansided as well. You contribute to Fansided as well. You do a little bit of everything. So, man, definitely go check out my guy. And also go check out Philly the podcast. We just had Jack Stahl on for an exclusive interview. The dude is amazing. He's awesome. Definitely go check that out. It was a lot of fun. We'll definitely have him back on. But yeah, I appreciate everybody. Be sure to check out the A2D memberships. And shout out to my guy, Tom Arnone, for having us every Saturday. We will be back next week at 1 o'clock. But other than that, y'all know what it is. It is Fly Eagles Fly. And we are out here. Peace!